He kept the secret for 12 years, until a shoebox, forgotten at the back of a closet, changed everything. This is the night Claire's world quietly fell apart, and she still remembers every second of it. Claire was 34, and her marriage was the kind everyone envied. Richard was attentive, present, the type of husband who never forgot an anniversary, who still made her coffee the way she liked it after 12 years. They had 2 kids, a house they'd built together brick by brick, and a life that, from the outside, looked complete. But if you asked Claire, really asked her, she'd tell you something always felt slightly out of place. Nothing she could name, just a feeling. The kind you learn to bury, because it's easier to trust the life you built than to question it. It started with something ordinary. She needed to change the air filter in the bedroom closet, a task she'd done a dozen times before. But this time, tucked behind a pile of old blankets she hadn't touched in years, she found a shoebox. Not hers, not one she recognized at all. Inside were letters. The dates went back 8 years, right around the time their oldest son was born. They were signed by a woman named Helena, and one line stopped Claire's breathing entirely. A mention of that weekend in the mountains. She confronted him that night, in the kitchen, the letters still trembling in her hand. Richard's face went pale under the single light above the table. Then came the denial. "It's not what it looks like," he said, hands raised, voice climbing into that particular pitch people use when they're buying time, not telling the truth. But Claire wasn't asking anymore. She spread the letters across the table, one by one, her finger landing on the dates like she was building a case in a courtroom only she could see. He sat back down, slower this time, and put his head in his hands. The kitchen went quiet, in a way that felt heavier than any argument could. "It wasn't just once," he finally said, not lifting his head. "It lasted years." Claire's hand rose to cover her mouth.
I'm sorry.
Days later, Claire sat alone, reading the letters again. Not out of pain this time, but out of something closer to investigation. One line, careless and small, mentioned Helena's own husband. Claire hadn't noticed it before. Now, it was all she could see. She thought about it for days, not out of revenge, but because someone else deserved the truth she never got the chance to ask for. She found his address. She wrote the letter herself. And on a quiet afternoon, she handed it to a stranger who had no idea his life was about to change. She never saw his reaction, but somewhere, in that same quiet way her own world had once fallen apart, his did too. Telling the kids was harder than telling Richard it was over. She chose her words carefully, not to protect him, but to protect them. Richard packed slowly, like some part of him hoped she'd change her mind. She didn't. Three months later, Claire stood in her kitchen, the same kitchen, and felt something she hadn't expected to feel again. Steady. Would you have kept the secret to hold the family together? Or does the truth always deserve to come out, no matter how much time has passed? Let us know in the comments.